Welcome to chess, ladies and gentlemen. All right, cool. So we just got done with the first final four, I guess. The first round of the final four. So we have Magnus Carlsen, Maxim Vachier-Lagrave, Teimour Radjabov, and Wesley So playing for those final two spots in the Opera Meltwater Champions Chess Tour. And so, you know, any of these guys are capable of winning. They've all pretty much won before. Wesley So, Teimour Radjabov, Magnus Carlsen's been kind of trailing a little bit, but he is playing a lot better in this tournament. And so that's good for him. So I'm back on again. I know you guys are getting tired of me. But for anybody that's coming from Azerbaijan, I'm going to say salamat, not salamat to you, salam to you. Welcome. And all of my people in the Philippines, it is 6 a.m. in the Philippines, so a lot of y'all might be getting up. So Magandang Umaga, Maraming Salamat, Akim Magay Kaibagan for coming by and checking out my stuff. And I do have another phrase that I just wrote down. Let me see if I can't butcher this. Masaya Akong Makita Kang Muli. I'm trying to say it's nice to see you again. I'm going to get it down all the way so I won't have to read it. But it is a very long phrase. It's a very long string of words to be saying as a non-native to Tagalog. So you're going to have to give me some time on that one. But rolling along, we do have a nice game. It's kind of similar to the one we saw before, but it has like some little slight differences and stuff. So if you guys are ready, oh yeah, also, for those of you that haven't yet, please hit me with a subscribe. Appreciate it very much. I do have 840 subscribers at the moment, so I need 160 more. And I've been, you guys have been killing it the last couple of days because I've lifted up from about 700 to the 840 right now. So it's looking a lot more beautiful for me. So I appreciate it very much, everybody. So like, if you guys are ready, let's take a look and see what we have for this game. All right, so we have E4, C5, Knight to C3. We got Knight to C6, Bishop to B5. So we have the Sicilian Rosalimo on the board. So it's the same as we saw before, but we did see E6 last game. So we don't see that this time. We see G6. So it's a little different variation. I actually played this myself. Against this myself as white. So I'm very familiar with these lines. So a lot of times with G6, you can see a C3, you can see a D4 directly. You can see knight to C3, or simply just castles. Whatever you want to do. Whatever your flavor is. Quoting Craig David. I don't know if you guys know who that is. It's an old late 90s, early 2000s R&B singer. Still around. But anyway, what's your flavor? Anyway. We have bishop to G7. We got C3, knight to F6. We have rook to E1. We have castles. We have D4 by white. Like I said, every single time you look at the Sicilian, white is going to have to play D4 at some point. They're either going to be playing it directly or they're going to be playing it after they play C3. And so that is an automatic situation there. So we see D5 trying to, make sure that we prevent any type of D5 movements, by white themselves. So we have E5, knight to E4. We have bishop takes C6, pawn takes C6. We have bishop to E3. And so we have pawn takes D4, pawn takes D4. We have queen to B6. And then we see queen to C1. And this is actually all theory. This is stuff that has been seen before. This is not brand new territory at all. So as you can see, I mean, black is doing pretty good. They just need to develop their bishop somewhere, and then we just have a couple more rules for white to get fully developed. So we see A5. We see knight to C3. Knight takes C3. Queen takes C3. We got bishop to F5. So as you can see, black is completely done with their development. White is as well. So both sides are pretty much done what they were setting out to do. The only thing I will mention in this position, just give me 1 second here. Getting teary. Bam. Okay, cool. One thing I will mention in this particular situation is that you do have a backward C-pawn. And this is actually going to have to be defended now with pieces. Because as you can see, the only pawn that's to its side is ahead of it. And so it doesn't have the ability to, defend. So this pawn is defending this one good, but, it doesn't go the opposite way. So you're going to see a lot of you're going to see a lot of protecting the pawn, with pieces. which is not something you want to do. So that's one of the things I will say. Sicilian is a very good and strong opening, but it's one of those things where a lot of the times you end up with a backward pawn somewhere, and that needs to be taken care of or try to eliminate it with like pushing it through. But as you can see, this one doesn't have the ability to push through ever. So we do see B3. Rook F to B8. We see knight to D2, trying to prevent, an A5, an A4 move, because we do have it protected with the knight here. So we see H5, and this is actually the novelty of the game. So this is the first time this position has been seen. And it's pretty much just a situation that you're just trying to get some, you're trying to like blunt what white is trying to do at the end of the day. Because, you never really want a situation where your opponent can create, like, just build space against you. And so, you don't want an H4, H5 situation coming, from white, because it's going to damage your structure, and it's going to leave your king open. So, like, H5 is just trying to prevent that from happening. So we do see H3, Rook to C8. Rook A to C1. We have Bishop to F8. Just trying to see if we can, throw this pawn forward here. Once we do something like E6. And so we have A3, Rook A to B8. And we see Queen to B2. So Queen comes back to D8. We have Rook to C3. And as you can see, everything is very well protected as white. So there really isn't a lot of like, attackable areas as far as black is concerned. So we see Queen to D7, Rook E to C1, we see F6, and we see Rook to C5. And so Rook to B5, because, now we have the problem where, the pawn is double attacked, and so is this pawn over here. So that was really one of the best ways to defend it. So we do see A4, Rook takes C5, Rook takes C5. But as you can see, one of the possible defenders of this this pawn push, and just trying to defend this pawn altogether, is now gone. So it's going to be a possibility for white to try to build up on this pawn, and that's pretty much what they're focused on. When you're playing against somebody and they do have a backward pawn, all of your focus should go onto that backward pawn, because a lot of the times you can gang up on it more than it can be defended, and then just win it outright. So after this situation, if you want to go ahead and pause the video real quick, and see if you can see what Teimour Radjabov played in this position. I'll let you know that it is pretty dead even. As Maurice Ashley would say down here, it's triple zeros. Like, I don't know what you want me to say. Anyway. So it's triple zeros at this point. But to try to see if we can mix it up as black, try to see what Teimour Radjabov actually plays. Go ahead and pause it real quick. All right, cool. Pausing's actually kind of helped because I can, dry my eye up. Anyway, so Teimour Radjabov, he actually starts kind of playing like dream chess a little bit, because what he does in this position is like completely unsound, and it is almost losing. It's almost losing for black, pretty much losing. So he does sacrifice the bishop here on H3. The only problem is this bishop isn't really influencing this queen side. It's kind of over here, and the rook is also over here. So usually when you have some type of sacrifice like this, you usually have like a couple of pieces hanging around so that you can kind of follow up the attack. So as you can see, after pawn takes H3 and then queen takes H3, black is just, white is just able to perfectly defend, this piece sacrifice. So they back up with their knight to F1. And as you can see, there really isn't an attack at all. You just have the queen hanging out here. You have the bishop, holding everything together. The knight's holding everything together. There's no penetration there. The queen has the ability to swing over. The rook can come back. So you're still kind of focused on this. There, like I said, there really isn't a whole lot that black actually has. They're up, 2 pawns, but they're just really just kind of down positionally. It's not really something. That's not really something that's gonna end up with anything and stuff. So. Like I said, we did throw that in the mix. So we have pawn takes E5, pawn takes E5. We have bishop to G7. So, he's kind of strumming up a little bit of counterplay here, trying to justify the sacrifice. Queen comes to D4. We have queen to E6. We have rook takes A5, bishop takes E5. We have queen to H4. We have rook to F8. Rook to A7. And this is something I want you guys, this is something I know you guys from watching my videos have been like probably seeing in your own games is this pig on the 7th. Just play it back and forth. This pig on the 7th. Like, so that means that when you're in this position, as long as everything is secure, this should just automatically jump out to you. This rook to a7 motion. You know, like, you know, just it's the most logical place to put the rook. And so, you know, you don't have to be these high level players, you know, world champion level players to, you know, see that. A lot of the times when you're playing chess, if you do understand the basic chess fundamentals, it's going to really come into play really good, you know, in your gameplay. And so it's kind of one of them things where if you hold to certain rules, you can't really go wrong. So not only are you putting the pig on the 7th, but you also have a situation where the bishop, you know, the bishop is defending here, you know, like this. So it's doubly beneficial now, you know, so there's not really any way that this rook could be challenged. So we see bishop to d6. We see b4 because, you know, of course, the queen is protecting this laterally. So we see rook to f3, you know, but like I said, I mean, this knight is protecting here, is protecting here. You know, this bishop is holding on pretty strong. And then, you know, of course, if you try to do this, it's going to take back. So, you know, you don't really have a whole lot, you know, you know, as black here. And so rook does come to a8 with check. And this is setting up a really, really nice, you know, kind of box for the king to be in. So after king to f7, we do see bishop to h6. And as you can see, the clear threat is just, you know, trading off these rooks. If you can get these rooks traded off, you're just up an entire piece. And you're just down 2 pawns. And, you know, that's pretty winning. So we got queen to e2. We do see rook to f8 with check. The king comes to e6, and then we are able to trade off the rook at f3. And so queen takes f3, bishop takes e3. And as you can see, this formation right here is perfect in the defense. And then this queen is holding this square down because, you know, if you try to put a battery on, you know, there's really nothing to be done, you know, anywhere. You know, this knight is just perfectly holding all of this together. The queen is holding everything together, so there's just no penetration anywhere. So we have king to d7. We have a5. King comes to c8. We have bishop to c5, really trying to trade off that bishop. Bishop comes to f4. We got queen takes e7. We got king takes g4. And as you guys have noticed in these past couple of games that I've done for Wesley, so, you know, he's taking some dangerous king walks, and he's about to do the same thing again. I'm going to call it, let me see, what am I going to call it? I'm going to call it the so. I'll call it the so shuffle. Like, it's literally him just taking, like, you know, 5 or 6 different steps with his king. And so you're going to see it here. So bishop takes g3, pawn takes g3, queen takes g3, king goes to f1, queen comes to d3, king goes to f2, queen goes to d2 with check, king goes to f3, queen goes to d1, king comes up to f4, queen to g4 with check, king to e5. We see queen to e4 with check, king to f6. And then queen takes e7 with check, and then now king takes e7. So as you can see, the king started off here, then went here, something like this, bam, 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 bam. That is the so shuffle. I'm gonna call it that. So anybody that watches my videos in the future, and I say the so shuffle, they'll know what I'm talking about. And then so we have h4, king to d6. h3, you know, we gotta prevent against, you know, just becoming a queen. So we back up to g1. So we have d4, king takes c6. We got d3. We got a6, king to b8. And now we have b5. And after d2, it looks like black is going to queen. And that's going to be game over. But we do have a7 with check. And then you have 2 options as black. You go over here and get checkmated automatically. You know, nice little typical checkmate. Or you move over here and then you face b6, which is what he does. But unfortunately, you can promote to any piece you want to. You can even promote to like 5 queens. Doesn't matter. This is going to be checkmate. Because this bishop is holding down this pawn. And this king doesn't have anywhere to go. It's all by itself. It's alone, right? So after b6, he doesn't even queen. Teimour Radjabov does resign. And that is the end of that. And so Wesley So wins the first round of the playoffs. And so we go into, I'm not sure if they're playing it now. Let me see. Are they playing it today? Or are they playing it tomorrow? Maybe they're playing it tomorrow. I'm not really sure. Games start every day at 1600. Okay, so I guess maybe they're playing it tomorrow. So I guess I'll be making some more videos tomorrow. Hopefully I'm feeling a little bit better. And then we'll be good to go. But yeah, that is that game. I appreciate you guys stopping by. You know, let me see. Mariming Salamat, Kaibagan. Appreciate you guys coming through. Pa alam to you, Mabuhay. And like I said, salam to people that are from Azerbaijan. Appreciate you guys coming by and stopping and looking at my video. If you guys have any specific videos that you would like, I'll do my best to make them. As you guys know, I'm kind of struggling with my eye right now. So it's a little hard for me to pump out these videos. I could probably usually do at least 3 to 4 a day, but I'm a little bit slower now. So I will see you guys next time. Hit that subscribe button. Leave me some comments, concerns. You know, if you guys give a thumbs down, please, pretty please, actually say why you put a thumbs down, or just give me any type of constructive criticism. Because, you know, I've used everything that anybody has said, whether it's been positive and negative, and I've used it to try to make my channel better. Because like I said at the very beginning when I started, you know, I want my channel to be what people want to see all day, every day. So I appreciate you guys, and I will see you guys next time. All right.